All right, everybody. Welcome back. It is From the Pocket. I am Jake. Over there is Christian up in DFW.
Howdy, howdy.
Christian, it was a great weekend of football. And,
For some people.
well, not for our teams. Our teams had it rough. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera on the fly. But yeah, we're going to talk about it here. So we don't typically do this, but we're trying to make this a little more consistent where we're doing a recap episode either the Sunday evening after the games or even the Monday night after the games. And then Wednesday we'll come back and we'll give all of our upcoming week 4 talk. Christian give his tiers. I'll give my best bets. We'll give our predictions. So, Christian, I'm ready to dive into week 3. It was a good week of football. I enjoyed it, but again, definitely not good for your Dolphins, not good for my Cowboys. We could talk about it all here. How did you want to do this? Did you want to just kind of dive into some key games and just get it started that way?
Yeah, we can
All right,
just
well,
keep it right
we
there.
still got a couple games going on right now, but I'm down, Christian, to kind of go off your lead. Tell us where you want to start. You take us today. Where are we going?
Um, I guess a game I would highlight. Um, I'll start with the Thursday night one, just cause I'm not gonna do an apology. I don't think the Jets deserve one. I picked wrong. I picked the Patriots to win this one. They obviously didn't. I think goals of the spread serves like 5 points or four and a
It's like
half.
6 or something. 6.
And the Patriots did not cover, so I'm glad I stayed away from that. But yeah, the Jets look good. Aaron Rodgers played really well. What was he? He was 27 for 35, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. They look very, very good. So
Yeah.
no complaints there. Still not going to complain about them or apologize. I don't know if we're going to get this we're gonna get this week to week with the Jets, but hey, I thought they were on about they weren't on par with the 49ers in week 1, week 2. Uh, Gritty game with the Titans, but they pulled it out. And this one, it just shows like, yeah, they're way better than the Patriots. So
Yeah. I think, I do want to give Aaron Rodgers credit. It's the first time in,
true.
I mean, geez, I don't know how long. It's the first time Aaron Rodgers has looked really, really good in quite a while. Definitely first time in the Jets uniform. Not he hasn't played a lot of games, but I share your skepticism. This does to me feel like it's going to be a team that's very inconsistent throughout the year. I wouldn't be surprised if we get this kind of performance 4 or 5 times this year, where they just win in a dominating fashion. But, at the same time, I'm not going to be surprised if we get 4 or 5 times the game they had against the Titans, where, if the Titans don't, more specifically, Will Levis doesn't malfunction and the Titans don't have, I think, a blocked punt, right? They probably lose that game, or that game against the 49ers where they played a team that was clearly better than them and they just got mollywopped. So I share your skepticism, but I also just think Patriots are a bad team. Patriots had just played an overtime game. They were on a short week, traveling to New York. It was not a good spot for the Patriots. I didn't think they would get blown out, but I was very skeptical that they would be able to win that game just because of all those ongoing circumstances. So,
I want to talk about the battle of the 2-0s.
oh
We had
yeah,
the
that was
Houston Texans going to Minnesota. Minnesota gets the win, completely blows out the Texans 34-7. CJ Stroud and the Texans never really got a rhythm, and Sam Darnold is just out here balling, bro. Justin Jefferson. I don't. Did James?
Jordan
James
Addison was out.
He was out, but
Yeah,
hey, you still got Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the league right now.
Kevin O'Connell is
Kevin
just
O'Connell.
proving to be a better coach every week. Brian Flores is clearly a great defensive
They
coordinator.
ran the ball well. Aaron Jones, 19 carries, 102 yards.
I saw a lot of this game being in Houston. It kind of sucks because I had the Vikings as one of my bets of the week. We're +2. Didn't think we were cruising for a blowout. Again, a lot of blowouts always surprise me, but I I definitely felt good about the Vikings in this spot. The Vikings offense was good, and I know 34 points is a lot. It was good, but like a lot of that was just set up by how bad the Texans offense was.
Yeah.
They had
Two turnovers.
early turnovers.
Had 11 penalties for 88 yards, and were not efficient on third down. 4 for 14.
They had one. There was in the first half. I think it was in the first half. They were 3rd and 4. The Texans were in field goal range on 3rd and 4, down 14-0. Right, you need to score. You need to get something going. They had 3 pre-snap penalties in a row. Went from 3rd and 4 in field goal range to 3rd and 19 outside of field goal range. Over 3 pre-snap penalties, and they had to punt the ball away.
Well, they open up the game with
a turnover,
holding penalty.
Yeah.
And then it's a 1st and 20, and C.J. Stroud throws an interception.
It was tipped, but yeah. It was a turnover. It was an interception. It was a turnover. Honestly, I don't want to defend C.J. Stroud too much because C.J. Stroud has been getting very lucky the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He's had like 3 or 4 interceptions that all got called back. So I don't want to sit here and go, oh, well, it's not C.J.'s fault. Like, C.J. can get unlucky from time to time. He's definitely had this karma built up. But yeah, I mean, I just kudos to the Vikings. Like, it really does.
And that coaching staff like that.
Yeah. It really does scare you because you're just like, it's just defying expectations so much. You're just sitting there wondering, when is it all going to not happen? When is it going to fall apart? And
I thought this team was dead on arrival.
I did too.
JJ McCarthy getting injured and other stuff like that, but they're just keeping on trucking.
I mean, I had them losing to the Giants in week 1, and then I don't think anybody had. I mean, a couple people had them beating the Niners, but if you had told somebody in the aggregate, yeah, I mean, they're gonna be 3-0, and I mean, it's gonna be 3 convincing wins. Like, they're not. This isn't like the Vikings a couple years ago where they were 11-0 in one possession games, and like you're watching them and you're just like, this team's not that good. Like, they're winning convincingly. They're playing well. They're doing everything right. So Aaron Jones has been awesome for them. Great for the Vikings. I'm happy for the Vikings. I like Kevin O'Connell. I feel like the Vikings are just one of those organizations I always find myself rooting for. And I mean, to beat the Texans 34-7. I mean, geez.
At home, yeah, you love that. The other 2-0 battles, we had the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields gets the start once again and gets the win. Probably his best game I have seen Justin Fields play. I mean, he did have an interception, but he was 25 for 32, 245 yards, a touchdown. I think he ran a little bit. He had a rushing touchdown as well. It looked very good, and the Steelers are sitting here at 3-0 at the top of their division, while the Bengals are still look like they just scored, but they are down against Washington right now at home. And then the Ravens just got their first win, and the Browns are the Browns.
They lost to the Giants. They're 1-2 though. They beat the The Jaguars are just bad.
Yeah, Jaguars are just bad. Justin Herbert did get injured in this game. Did leave.
Taylor Heineke time.
Don't know how his status will be for next week, but yeah, tough break for the Chargers. But on the Steelers side, hey man, you love to see it. Love when a player can bounce back like that. And getting with a coaching staff that I think trust him and like is helping him grow as a player. So it's really nice to see. So good on the Steelers.
Yeah, I was watching a Cam Newton clip on his, I think it's 4th and 1.
Yeah, I've been watching that too. That's been popping up.
It's one of those things where like I see the headline and I'm like, whatever, Cam. And then I listen to what he says and I'm like, you actually make a pretty good point, Cam.
Yeah, exactly.
He had one of those today where it was like, the literal title of the video is like, Cam Newton's theory on Justin Fields just makes too much sense. Russell, he's actually the starter or something like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And he's like, why is Russell Wilson dressing out if he's hurt? Like, if Christian McCaffrey's got a calf issue, Christian McCaffrey's not dressing out.
Apparently, he's Chris McCaffrey going to Germany. I saw on Twitter,
Oh snap! I
trying to
didn't hear
get
that.
I guess a second opinion on his Achilles. I don't know if it's from a reputable source, so but I did see
Well,
something about that.
fair, but no, I mean, Cam Newton's theory is like Justin Fields is a starter. They're just trying to ease ease Russell Wilson into that. But like, I don't know because I
I mean, you're
have
3-0. It's
it's
hard to
tough,
be
yeah.
like, hey, we're
And
rolling. Let's go. Let's put this other guy
well,
in.
and the other thing about it too is he's looking better every week.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
week
has been
one he
getting
was
better.
iffy. Week two against the Broncos, he had some throws that were like, dang, that's a really good. And then obviously he just played his best game of the year against the Chargers too. So like he's getting better every game, and you're winning on top of it. Like, it's. I agree with you. At some point, I understand. I think what I've heard is Mike Tomlin like really gave Russell Wilson his word. Like, dude, you're the starter until further notice. Like, and
Yeah,
I stand by that. But dude, I mean, if Justin Fields keeps doing what he's doing, he just keeps getting better. You keep winning. You keep stacking the. I mean, if the Steelers are 7-1 with a top tier defense, and Justin Fields is just looking better and better as the season's going
yeah,
on, like, how are you taking him out? For Russell Wilson, like Russell Wilson's got no. He's not your future.
right.
Like, I just.
And yeah, I imagine what the team would think. Like,
Yeah,
hey, like what's going on? Just because this guy has some reputation in this league, it's like, nah, dude, you you come in every week and whatever's working, you stick with it, and
yeah.
it's working right now. You're 3-0. You're on top of your division. You're playing great football. You got the Colts coming. You got to go on the road to the Colts. That's a very winnable game for them. So that's 4-0. Then you got the Cowboys. We'll talk about the Cowboys here in a
It's a
minute.
winnable
They
game though.
they ain't looking
At
that
home,
great.
at home on Sunday Night Football, that is a winnable game.
So 5-0 potentially.
It's
Like
on the
at
board.
Raiders 6-0. Jets could be a little bit challenging, but hey man, I ain't mad at you. So good job on the Steelers there.
Yeah.
I'll let you handle what games you want to talk about, Drake.
The game that I thought was just crazy that definitely has to be highlighted. That Rams Niners game. I watched basically the whole
I
game.
can't believe they lost.
Yeah.
Because like I stopped watching that a little bit because I was like, okay, I think the 49ers got it, and I think I turned on the Dolphins game because we were starting to drive a little bit, but it ultimately didn't go well. But yeah, I think overall they played well. It kind of was just that missed field goal, really, that really hurt them because um, they were about to go. They were driving too, so like it looked like they were about to put this game away. They were leading much of this game, and then they get it down all the way to what the 37, the Rams 37. And Jake Moody goes back and kicks a 55-yarder and misses it.
Yeah.
And then they score in 3 plays.
Yeah, the Rams they unlocked at the end. I mean,
They locked They locked in.
I was watching because I had the Rams as one of my bets this week, and so
Give him a 50-yard pass.
so I was sitting there at 2-1 because
First
the
play.
the early window games I went 2-1, and I'm like, I need one more. I need the if the Rams cover +7 or +6.5, I have a positive week. And so I'm sitting there watching that game, just sweating. I barely watched the Cowboys game. I just had no interest in watching it. I had it on my phone in like kind of the corner, and on my TV I had the Rams game switching back and forth between that and Red Zone. And I was just sweating the whole time. And I mean, it's a 10-point game in the fourth quarter. I'm just sitting here like, okay, the Rams get a touchdown here. We're probably good because it's a 3-point game, and the 49ers at that point are probably just going to try to ice the clock and not care. We're good as long as we're all good. And then they kicked a field goal, and I'm like, fuck, down by 7. I'm have 6.5. Like I need them to score again, and I in my wildest dreams, I did not think they'd actually win that game. Like Jake Moody, I'm sitting here, they're like driving, and I'm like, if y'all give up one more first down, it's over because like that's a makeable field goal, and they didn't give it up, and And I'm like, okay, now I just need Jake Moody. Even if he misses, even if he makes it, as long as they get a touchdown, we're good. And he misses it straight up. And it's like, oh, now they're going to try to score a touchdown no matter what. So I'm probably covered. And then 3 plays later, they score or whatever it was, tie it up, force a 3 and out, and on the punt return, take it back to midfield. The Rams are 3 plays away from field goal range, kick the field goal, go home. So, I just, again, I don't think the Rams should have won that game. They stole it. But
They did, yeah.
like I could not get past the idea that everybody's like, oh, the Rams, all their injuries. The 49ers went into this game without Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle. I mean, they were missing all 3.
I want to say Trent Williams left in the middle of the game.
Trent Williams left early at the end of the first half for cramping, but he got an IV and came back. He was fine.
I mean, but it all works out when Juwan Jennings is
but Brandon
going off.
I mean, so you're missing those 3 guys. Brandon Ayuk was bad. Like Brandon Ayuk is not playing well. This offense was literally Jordan Mason and Juwan Jennings, and Brock Purdy was good. Like I don't think Brock Purdy's why they lost, and then they lost because of special teams. They missed a field goal.
Brock Purdy played excellent.
He had a fumble, but it didn't result in anything. Brock Purdy was really good, and
they say he lost on the stat. They say he lost it.
He did lose it, but it didn't. They didn't score. I think they just.
Okay.
It was at the end of the first half. I think the Rams just kneeled it out, or something like that, or they tried to do something and couldn't do it. But no, they lost this game because of special teams. I mean, Jake Moody missing the field goal, giving up that long punt return at the end to set the Rams up to kick the game winner, and earlier in the game, the Rams, it was 4th and 6, and they were at midfield. And the Rams were lining up to punt it, and they did a fake punt and ran it and got a first down. And that set them, and then they went and scored a touchdown on that drive, and it kept them in the game. So, yeah, I don't take too much away from the Rams. They were a desperate team, and they got it done, and it honestly could have saved their season.
Yeah.
You lose, you get blown out week 2, you lose in overtime week 1, and you lose to the Niners at 0-3. You have all these injuries, your season is teetering at that point. And, they saved their season. They have life now. Now if they go beat Chicago, which very winnable game. I mean,
I don't understand why Chicago's favored, but I get it, I guess.
They're in Chicago, they got to go on the road and do it, but very winnable game. They win that game, they're 2-2. And all of a sudden it's we're good, baby. Especially the Lions have lost already. The Cardinals are 1-2. The Niners are 1-2. You just beat them. The Cowboys are 1-2. The Eagles have lost. They're 2-1. Falcons are 1-2. Nobody except the Seahawks and the Vikings are running away with it in the NFC. So
true.
You're right there. You got to feel really good if you're the Rams. Just for the 49ers, it just is going to take me a lot to be worried about the Niners. I mean, I had them going.
It's kind of like the Chiefs. It's they're not playing well, but hey.
I mean, a couple years ago they started out 3-4, and then I don't think they lost again. It's just what they do. So they're going to get healthy. They're having their injury bug they have. Their roster's a little older, but I mean, clearly Jordan Mason's great. Juwan Jennings is great. So they're showing
Christian McCaffrey will show up eventually.
So they're showing they have depth. It's just, I think
Brock Purdy's playing good.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of concerns about the Niners. Just that I've reiterated before the season started, just about their rest advantage and Super Bowl hangover, and their roster's older. But I mean, I still think they're gonna. You're not gonna catch me saying the 49ers aren't about to be a playoff team. Yeah. I would bet literal dollars that they will be a playoff team. So anyway, yeah, good for the Rams. Save their season. Literally, I think that saved their season. They just need to get healthy.
Shout out to the Panthers going into Vegas and just dominating this game from jump. Led the whole way. They had, let me see, 1, 2. They had, Jesus Christ, it was 33-7 early in the fourth quarter. Andy Dalton was just balling, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. I thought Bryce Young didn't have any help.
Dude, that's what I was saying. It's like I was not a fan of Bryce Young coming out, and I was like the Panthers. I feel like their defense isn't great, but to me it was really telling. Like Dave Canales is a guy who takes these quarterbacks that are limited but have pretty decent potential. Took Geno Smith, made him a star that one year. Took Baker Mayfield last year, made him a star. When this dude is sitting here behind the scenes, likely saying, "Dude, we got to bench him." Like
He's just not ready.
I can't help this guy.
I don't want to give up. I even I saw I forgot. I think it was Adam Schefter. Even reported 4 teams were interested in trading for Bryce Young, but they said they're not going to. I just think he just needs to sit, and then obviously David Tepper has not been a great owner so far.
Careful saying
Just
that. David Tepper will throw some some food or drink at you or something.
sure, but hey, I mean, he he's running the league like, or he's running his team like how he wants to, and not from what I hear, he's not listening to like his staff or whatever, and he's just going off vibes or whatever he's doing. But I mean, it's right now it looks okay because Andy Dalton came out here and balled, so it's not a terribly constructed roster. I do think he does deserve criticism, obviously, but I mean, I think it just goes to show that Bryce Young was not ready and probably was not deserving of the number one pick. Obviously, probably should have been C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young probably needed to cook a little bit. So I'm really hoping. I'm glad they're not trying to trade him and giving up on him. I I just hope he now takes this time to sit back and learn and reflect on things that he needs to get better on.
Yeah, I mean, you're more optimistic than I am. I very much. I just do not think he has the tools to play in the league. That's just what I until
That is definitely still on the table.
it's not that I don't think he's like mentally capable. Like I think he's obviously a mature person. I think he's got the right reflex. I think he's got the right mindset. I mean, at some point, you just gotta physically be able to do it. And I feel like we've been getting these quarterbacks. We've been pushing that line more and more over the years, like with Kyler Murray, with these smaller quarterbacks. That it's like, can we do this with you? I don't know. You're kind of small. And Kyler Murray's okay. Yeah, Kyler Murray works. And so now it's like, what about Tua? Tua's kind of little small, little undersized, and bar outside of the concussions, unfortunately, Tua works in the NFL. Like, okay, yeah, you can be a quarterback in this league. Now it's Bryce Young, and it's like, okay, how about super skinny, super short, not hyper athletic, and it's like I just don't think it's working. I think Bryce Young we have reached the limit on how small a quarterback can be before they're not actually able to function as a quarterback. I don't know. It's unfortunate.
It really is, especially because he was a winner.
Yeah, I mean,
throughout his entire career up until this point.
I mean, if the dude was literally 3 or 4 inches taller and weighed another 20 pounds, I think he'd be a decent quarterback. Like, he would literally be a pretty good quarterback, but it's just he's physically just limited. And it's not his fault. It's just what it is. Like, that's what God gave him. So, it's okay. He'll have his $30 million, and he'll be richer than all of us for the rest of his life. So, it's okay.
All right, Jake, you want to talk about our teams here?
I do want to talk about really quick the Eagles and the Saints.
Oh yeah, that was what happened there. I didn't really get to. Oh yeah, I get
terrible game.
I thought Eagles scored all their points in the fourth quarter.
It was 3-0 at halftime
for much of the game.
For really the first 3 quarters, it was 3-0. Saquon broke off a run. Eagles did what they do and gave up a touchdown drive. And then the Eagles, by the skin of their teeth, minute and a half, ticking down, 3rd and 16, no hope. Blown coverage, Dallas Goedert running free on a crosser, catches it, and nobody touches him for 60 yards. And the Eagles go score a touchdown, and the Saints aren't able to do anything about it. I guess just really quick, my notes. I don't know what the Saints were doing. I don't know. I just their game plan to me was like, we're gonna try and run the ball. That's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna just run the ball, and it just didn't work. And I understand like why, because the Eagles had struggled to stop the run through the first 2 weeks. So they're like, well, we're just going to try to run the ball because Alvin Kamara is playing amazing. Alvin Kamara had 26 carries for 87 yards. I mean, averaged less than 3.5 yards a carry. And I mean, they were giving him the ball on critical downs. I mean, I'm talking 3rd and 3 on like 5 drives. They gave it to him, and it ended their drive over and over and over and over again. And I get the idea that you got to stick with the run. Like, yeah. Dude, I'm sorry, but when it hasn't worked for the first 3 quarters and you've lost 4 drives to this shit, you need to stop doing that. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not working. And they just kept doing it. So I was frustrated by that. Derek Carr, 14 for 25, 142 yards. He was underwhelming. He threw an interception to end the game. That's where his interception was. Jalen Hurts was not good. Like, he was fine, but he had 2 really bad turnovers. I mean, they were marching, and he had 2 really bad turnovers. Nick Sirianni continues to make questionable head coaching decisions, and they went for it multiple times on 4th down and didn't get it. I just, they lost Devontae Smith in this game. They lost Lane Johnson in this game. A.J. Brown is still hurt. Like, I feel like I'll give credit to their defense, but I'm not hopeful about their defense. Like, their defense isn't good. It hasn't been good for a year and a half. I'm not going to sit here and think that just because they stopped the Saints today, they're good. So, I just, the Saints obviously disappointed, let down, probably not as good as I was hoping they might be.
Yeah.
They're probably not as bad as I thought they were at the beginning of the year, obviously, but
yeah, they're better than that. They're better than that. They're not as good as we had hoped.
I watched the Eagles, and I'm like, this is a 9-8 football team, y'all.
9-8.
This is a 9-8 football team.
9-8.
Like, they have so much talent. I'm like, why is it that they just eke out all these wins? Every game is like ugly, nasty. Like, how is that the sign of a team that's, if they're talented, then they're not coached well? Like, you can't tell me they're coached well, they're talented, and they have a top tier quarterback, because that's not one of those. Some of those things are not adding up. So I just
not mad.
Their defense is not going to be good. I don't need to go on a rant about Kellen Moore. Jalen Hurts is an average quarterback. That's what we're seeing now. We've been seeing it for a year and a half. Nick Sirianni,
a lot of turnovers. He's
having a lot of turnovers, and they're going to go on the road and play the Bucs this week. That's going to be a tough out for them. If they win, hey, they're 3-1. They got to be feeling good. But I just every time I watch this team, I just get so tired of it, because, like, I'm listening to Chris Sims on Sunday Night Football, and he's just like, well, the Eagles, when it's all said and done, they're going to be in the thick of it. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not. They likely won't make the playoffs, and if they do make the playoffs, it'll only be because they won this trash division they're in, and they get bounced in round 1. Like, that is going to be the peak the Eagles have this year. So I just, I can get off the rant about the Eagles. It's just annoying. I just watch this team play every week, and I'm like, you should have lost this game. And they just keep winning somehow, because I guess God is an Eagles fan.
Keep doing it.
God must just be an Eagles fan, and I just must have to accept that.
All right, let's get to, I guess we can talk about these last 2 games, or unless you want to talk about another one. But
I'm chilling. You got your Dolphins. You go ahead.
Yeah. I got the Dolphins going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Skylar Thompson got the start, and did not look great. Got injured in this game. I think late in the third, Tim Boyle had to come in and try to clean this up. But yeah, it was 17-3 for most of the game. Shout out our defense. Our defense, dude, our defense is what's been keeping us in all these games. Well, except for the Bills one, obviously. But the ones where it was a game, they've kept us in it here against Seattle, and then week one versus the Jaguars, keeping the Jaguars scoring in the second half. But I mean, from what I'm seeing with the Jags now, they're down 47-10.
They're about to
Uh,
score, sir.
okay, uh, okay. Uh, so I mean, 47-17. Then sure, they can have that. So we're obviously seeing the Jags aren't really a good team. So that comeback win is starting to look like not that big of a deal. Like not looking that great. Um, hey man, I think look, it's crazy to me to think we'd be we're 1-2 right now, and I'm sitting here like, man, when do we get Tua back? Like, because it seems like he is the system, bro. You can look at the stats. I don't have them, but if you go look at some next gen stats, the offense just does not work when Tua is not in. That's just what the numbers say. Like it just that's just what it is. The offense just doesn't work. We don't have a consistent running game, even though Achan's great. Rahimos, I think he's still injured, and we got that Tennessee kid Warren. They're all fast. You know, we got the Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. They're all fast, but like it doesn't work. And I think it kind of Chris Greer, he needs some our GM. He needs to take accountability for this. And then Mike McDaniel, bro. Like I'm not saying he should be fired. I feel like I say this every week, but I'm not advocating for him to lose his job right now. But I need things to get fixed. Like the delay again, the and nobody getting able to be lined up. I know we do like a lot of motion and all that stuff, and like I know it helps the quarterback and all that, but like dude, we're consistently since he's I think even before I don't want to put it all on Mike McDaniel, but like the penalties, bro, pre-snap and all that, dude. Like it's coaching, dude. We need to clean it up. We need to clean it up, and we need an offensive line to help out. That would help tremendously, obviously. So that's a GM problem. And then scheme wise, I'm just a little frustrated. I'm just like that's just what it is. We're as Dolphins fans, we're just all frustrated and trying to figure out why this thing isn't going well. You know, I saw something today. We haven't led a single time in this season so far.
True, yeah.
Haven't led a single second.
True, because the only one you have is a game-winning field goal. It's at the
Yeah,
buzzer. Yeah, that's true. That sucks. Um, I I I like Mike McDaniel,
I do too.
but man, it's hard to not make it's you can make the case he's coaching for his job. Like
It's
when
it's tough.
he's in,
I don't think Stephen Ross will fire him, but I mean it's
I
dude.
mean,
We had
it's
expectations, not big expectations, but we at least had expectations that we'll be competitive in the AFC, and we're not getting Tua back until the Cardinals game, and it's not getting where Skylar Thompson got knocked out of this game. Now he wasn't playing well, and he looked like it was a deer in headlights, but he got knocked out in this game. We got Tim Boyle on the roster, and I think Tyler Huntley is on the practice squad, so he'll probably be elevated. We'll see. I don't know what Skylar Thompson's uh, what he's gonna be these
yeah.
upcoming weeks, but we got a Monday night game against the Titans,
At least you
bro,
get a
and
little
it's
extra rest. You get an extra day of rest.
we need it. We need it.
Yeah. No, it's tough. And you know, as far as Mike McDaniel's goes, it's like, you know, as you said, you haven't been leading one for a single second this year, right? Your highlight of the year is a 10-point victory against a Jaguars team that officially is final, just lost 47-10, and is now 0-3. And they also just lost to the Browns, who the Browns are 1-2 and haven't looked good all year long either, even in that win. So it's and again, it's Tua got hurt. You were down 31-10 when Tua got hurt. Like y'all weren't in that game when Tua went down.
Can't beat the Bills.
And yeah, you got blown out by the Bills on a short week in your stadium, like at home. So, again, I don't like to be calling for, and I like Mike McDaniel, but it does get to the point where it's like, okay, so a if somebody's got to go, it's going to be you. We're not getting rid of Tua. We just gave Tua a giant contract.
Yeah.
So Tua's here.
And I don't know if Chris Greer's getting fired.
So, if something's got to go, who's it going to be? We got a guy who, Tua's limited and has concussions. You convinced us to give him all this money. You are getting blown out at home against a division rival that we're supposed to be closer to beating, and now it seems like we're further away, as far away as we've ever been. And we don't have a single quality win, and when Tua goes out, our offense looks incompetent. I mean, the Cowboys lost Dak Prescott for a month and won several games without him. Matt LaFleur has now won 2 games in a row with a backup quarterback.
And blew out the Titans on the blew Malik Neighbors. Malik Willis looked very good.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, you're getting to see these backup Andy Dalton with a backup quarterback just went into Las Vegas and balled out. Like, it's hard to not be looking at all these teams that have backup that are starting to see backup quarterbacks come in.
Even Kevin 3-0.
Even Kevin Stefanski last year. Like Kevin Stefanski had success with multiple backups and made the playoffs. So I just the super kid genius head coach. You're in your 3rd year. We got to see something, guy. So I'm with you. It's frustrating, and I don't think your season's over. I'm not as pessimistic as you about it, but I don't blame you for feeling like your season might be over.
It's rough, man. I just don't see how just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it can't happen. But from this, like you said, Mike McDaniel's been here for 3 years. I haven't seen us, be down and out and be down and
true,
fight back. So I don't know what this looks like. And this team doesn't because they haven't been put in this situation. So it's going to be interesting to see how, if we can get this rallied. And maybe it starts, it starts with getting Tua back, but we got a few more weeks before that can happen.
Yeah. I mean, you got 3 more games before he can come back. So, yeah, tough, man. I'm sorry. Season's not going as well as you were hoping.
It's whatever. I mean, I think like we said in the beginning of the game, beginning of the season, I thought this would be our time to look really good, be like, oh, the Dolphins Super Bowl champions, and then once November or December hits, then it's like, okay, they start falling off. Now, hopefully, we do the opposite, and maybe we struggle here, and then when November, December starts, we pick it up. So hopefully, we just need to get healthy. Tua needs to come back, and then maybe all things will be right. But for right now, it's pretty doom and gloom right now, and on the Dolphins side, Dolphins fandom here. Okay, let's talk about your Ravens Cowboys. We both picked the Ravens to win this game. Was never much of a game. Cowboys did that thing where they were losing most of the game, and then Dak in garbage time starts lighting it up. They put up 19 points in the 4th quarter. I mean, probably more on the Ravens. Maybe wanting to give up a double-digit lead, but they held on. They get the win 28-25. Jake, tell me about this game. I didn't really watch it. I mean, it was 28-6, or it was
28-6. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was 28-6. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have too much to say. I will say, I had you and I both had the Ravens winning. I did not expect the Cowboys to win this game. Like, I know the stat got talked about into oblivion. Lamar Jackson 20-1, now 21-1 against the NFC. When you don't study Lamar Jackson year after year, he's very hard. It's hard enough to stop Lamar when you know what he's about to do.
Yeah.
Like, compound that with yeah, we don't really study him. We play him once every 4 years. We don't really know what his tendencies are. Like, that's going to be a very, very hard team to stop, and that's what you get. That's why he's so successful against the NFC.
274 yards, ugh. 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, no, it was bad. So I don't blame us losing to them. Also the Ravens were desperate.
Yeah,
The
they
Ravens
definitely needed this one. More than the Cowboys.
they're playing the Bills, who the Bills are 3-0. They look great. Like, they lose to the Cowboys very much on the board. They start out 0-4, and I mean, your season is basically over at 0-4, especially in the AFC. So, they were more desperate. They had the advantage of the trends and stuff. What I don't excuse is being down 28-6 in the fourth quarter. That's embarrassing. I mean,
at home.
At home, exactly where I was about to go with that is.
It's got blown out. You got blown out last week.
Yeah, and the time before that, if you recall, at home, they played the Packers. So I mean, you're. I know that, again, as you said, they did that thing where they scored a bunch of points at the end, and I think people are even giving them too much credit for that. They're like, "Oh, the Cowboys almost kind of won." No, they didn't. Like, no, they didn't. They weren't going to win that game. I knew they weren't. It was, the announcers are trying to hype it up. Oh my God, look what's that. It's not. It's not gonna happen, y'all. They're not gonna win this game, and they didn't. It's just, it was just all garbage time points is what it amounted to. So, I'm not surprised. I've emotionally detached myself from this team this year because I had low expectations going into the year. Like, I had them going 10-7. I had them winning the division, but I had them winning the division by default, with the caveat that, like, the Eagles or the Commanders could also win this division. Whoever wins this division, it will not be on the merits of them being a good team. It will be because somebody has to win this division. Like, so I have no confidence. Like, they got worse on defense. They lost depth on defense, on the defensive line and in the secondary. And offensively, they lost a lot of talent. Like, the Tyler Biadasz thing. I've never heard people talk about an average player more than well, they lost Tyler Biadasz. Like, how can you overcome that? It's like, Chad, how are we going to overcome losing an average center? I can't fathom it. But they do have Tyler Guyton, who's a rookie. They do have Cooper Beebe, who's a rookie. I think the offensive line will be better in the long term, but, like, offensively, they can't run the ball. I mean, we knew they wouldn't be able to run the ball this year. Like, they almost were, like, daring themselves to say, yeah, what if we just don't run the ball ever? What if we just do exactly what we did last year again, where it's just Dak and CeeDee Lamb every game?
But now teams are starting to key in on that.
Yeah,
like, we're not going to let CD beat you. It's going to be, you're going to have to, go down the field with these other guys. Jake Ferguson had a good game, but yeah, it's just kind of CD Lamb or bust, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember I was watching a game with her last year, and she's just like, CD Lamb just kept catching passes. Like, every play was, and she's like, is he the only person playing? And I'm like, yeah,
basically,
this has been our offense all year long. And they literally, it's like they that's what they expected it to be again this year. So, and they showed it and Jerry Jones coming into the year's like, I don't think people realize it, but our team's better than it was last year. It's not. Like, no, it's clearly not. Just be honest about it. Like, it's just, I did not have high expectations. This team's not that good. This team is about to be potentially 2-5 in the coming weeks. I think they'll beat the Giants on Thursday. Then they got the Steelers, the Lions, and the 49ers. All of those very easily could be losses. And fact of the matter is, if they beat the Lions or the Niners, right, it's not going to be because they play. It's not going to be, again, on their own merit. It's going to be because the Lions or the Niners didn't play well. Because in no reality are they anywhere close to what the Lions are, roster-wise. They're like, the Lions literally beat them in every facet, basically. And the Niners, if the Niners aren't injured, the Niners might be injured. But, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Jaden Daniels just had an insane throw.
Dude, his throw to McLaurin in the first half was crazy.
Did you see the one he just threw to Terry McLaurin?
No, but I saw the one he saw in the I'll watch a highlight of it,
Dude,
but
this one was crazy. I'm sorry,
uh,
I'm getting caught.
no, you're good.
I'm rooting
The
for the Commanders
Commanders
to win the
are
division this year.
no, they're looking like they're gonna be going. They're gonna be 2-1, and they look scary.
I'm rooting for them to win the division.
Like Jade McDaniels, it seems like I forgot Cliff Kingsbury was still in the league.
He's their offensive coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I saw him there. I was like, I know that guy.
But,
yeah, so they're playing good, and he's looking better and better.
But yeah, as for the Cowboys, I don't have any expectations. I'm over it. I don't care. Good year to focus on the league.
Yeah, they need a. I don't. It's still a problem, but they still cannot stop this run. What they gave up. They gave up a ton of yards last week to the Saints, rushing yards, and then just the Ravens 200. Like, dude, that's a lot of rushing yards, man. You got to get that cleaned up. Yeah, how do you feel about Micah talking? He's been kind of.
Dude, Micah
he's been yapping.
Chill, bro.
He's been yapping. Not taking a lot of accountability.
It's really unfortunate. Like, he's in year 4 now.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we should not. Like, why are we still making mistakes? Like, you're not a rookie anymore, dude. You're a vet.
Like, you are a leader on that team now. You're one of the best players.
You're
gonna
be asking for big money next.
He's
this offseason.
He's trying to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And they ask him about this game, and all he does is say, "What's everybody doing? Everybody's out of place. You know, people out here playing hero ball." And it's like, dude, you're doing the same thing. Like, it's a bad look. It's tough. It's ugly. Like. It's honestly, they're very lucky that they're going to go play the Giants on Thursday. It's a good get right spot for them.
They need it. They need it bad.
They need it bad, and God forbid if they lose to the Giants. If they lose, this season's going to spiral bad. So
if they lose to the Giants on my birthday on Thursday, man, yeah, that's not a good season.
I might actually be sad. Like,
I would be too.
I'm coming in here saying like I have no expectations. I expect them to beat the Giants.
We got that expectation. That's what
I expect that. I expect that. No, I mean it's gonna be a tough year. It is what it is. I don't care. But tough games coming up. They got to win the Giants if they want any hope to stay alive in this thing. Luckily, again, the Commanders look like they actually could be a force. The Giants aren't good, and I don't think the Eagles are that good. So, yeah, that's what we got. Micah chirping way too much. He needs to chill out. Yeah, I think.
Do you want to talk about this Chiefs game or the fact that the Bengals look like they're going to go down 0-3?
We talked about both really quick. Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs just...
It was a game. It was a game for a little bit. Falcons took the ball down and scored. Patrick Mahomes has not been playing well, but they always find a way to win, man. They just do. And, like, I know the refs they missed that PI call on Kyle Pitts, but, I mean, even if they score there, I mean, I love or hate Nick Wright. I mean, it was like they still had time on the clock. Everybody probably had confidence that Patrick Mahomes can go down and get the field goal or touchdown to retake the lead. So, like, the lead wasn't safe for the Falcons. But, I mean, hey, man, shout out the Falcons, though. They did play well. And then that third quarter was a big disappointing, getting no points there. But they're playing well. I at least like what the Falcons are doing. It just didn't work out.
Well, and to defend the Chiefs a little bit, like the Falcons on their would have been game-winning drive, they had like 30 yards worth of penalties that helped them. I mean, so
that also
like it's not like the Falcons weren't getting anything. Like the Falcons started that drive at the 25-yard line without doing anything. They were at the without doing, like, taking away any progress they made on an individual play, right? Like, just from penalties alone, they're already past midfield.
Yeah.
So, I they made a really dumb play call, like going outside on a 4th and 1. It's like, let's try to hand this off and beat him to the edge. Like, why would you do that?
Well, that's like their scheme, like the outside zone. They run that a lot, but
Yeah.
it's like they've been like once you. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo is a great defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Like you'll get him some time. Like you'll get him a little bit, but eventually he'll figure you out. And then the Chiefs' defense is still very very good. I like McDuffie, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton. Like they're pretty sound. They're a pretty sound
for
defense,
sure.
and I mean they just keep trucking along, man. They're not. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was even in the press conference like, "Yeah, I didn't play well.
No, he didn't.
Like
I
we need
mean,
to we need to pick it up." But Carson Steele, I like that rookie, undrafted rookie. Like him.
that's what they do. They just find
They,
dudes.
they
That's
find dudes and
Andy Reid plugs them in.
he plugs them in and they win.
Rasheed Rice.
It's probably maybe I don't know when he's gonna get suspended, but he's gonna get suspended one day.
He
But he's
got me
playing well.
30 points in fantasy.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
awesome. So, yeah, I mean, Falcons, like, if there's a good loss, it's this. Tough for all the pros who bet the Falcons plus 3.5 and didn't cover.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, good on the Chiefs.
Did you
they keep winning.
did you find it funny? Arthur Blank put himself in the Ring of Honor.
I didn't see that. That's
yeah.
funny.
That is just like, hey guys, let's celebrate me for what I have done. It's like, yeah, you got to the Super Bowl once, and then your team has the most embarrassing loss in Super Bowl history.
That's the moment everybody thinks about. That's all anybody will ever think about.
Yeah,
That
like,
Super Bowl.
now celebrate me. Quick shout outs. Shout out to Bo Nix getting the win there in on the road in Tampa. Best game he's played so far in his young career. Had a rushing touchdown, 25 for 36, 216 yards. Played really, really good football there. Didn't turn the ball over, I don't think. I'm looking it up. Yeah, no interceptions, no fumbles. Javante Williams had a fumble and loss, but overall, yeah, clean game by Bo Nix.
Bo
So
Nix looked really good. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, it was solid by them. I don't have too much else to add. He would have been the highlight rookie performance if not for what
Jaden was doing right now. Yeah, dude, Baker Mayfield got sacked 7 times. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go over your bets real quick, Jake.
Oh yeah, sure. We had a winning week. First
I
winning
did
week of the
too.
season. Oh, you did too.
I
Yeah,
did
you went
too.
2-0. You're 3-0 on the year.
Panthers +5, yeah, with 2 pushes, and then Packers +3. Both teams blew that out of the water.
Yeah, I had let me just, I guess, really quick to go over them. I had the oh man, I'm blanking. Oh my gosh.
No, you didn't bet the Panthers. Which one did you do? You did the.
I had the Rams
the
+7.
Colts. Did you stay away from the Colts?
I stayed away from the Colts. Yeah, I had the Rams +6.5. They covered. They won outright. Again, just going back to what I said, like everybody's like,
Wait, is this your bets? Or
yeah, I
this
had
was
the Eagles.
Nick Wright.
I had the Eagles.
Bears.
I didn't have. That's Nick Wright. You're looking at Nick Wright's picks.
Oh, okay.
I was laughing at his picks. He went 3-2 as well, so I guess I can't laugh too much. But yeah, I had the Eagles plus, or I guess, wow. Let me get my bearings. Sorry.
Giants +6.5.
The Giants +6.5. They won
Rams
outright.
6.5.
I had the Rams +6.5. They won outright.
Saints
I had the
-2.5.
Vikings +2. They won outright. So those are my 3 wins. And then my 2 losses were the Saints -2.5 and the Jaguars tonight +5. Rams and Giants and were just lock picks. Like I felt really good about those picks. The injuries that the 49ers had, the Rams being at home, division rival, 0-2 desperation, coming off a bad loss, 49ers injuries. I just loved that all around. I did not expect the Giants to dominate the Browns the way they did, but I expected them to keep it close. They did even more than that. I liked the Vikings. I just like the spot.
I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect them to do that, and a lot of that was like, it was just a pro pick that I also agreed with, so it kind of emboldened me to take it. Yeah, but that was great. Saints -2.5. That
Yeah,
I shouldn't have bet it. I shouldn't have bet it.
That's fair.
It's because like I can admit like there will be bets that I'd make that I lose, and I'm like I still like that bet. Like, that was a good bet. That was the right side to bet. If I lose on that bet, that's a good bet to lose on. This was not. It was not. The only thing the Saints had going for them in this game was the Eagles were on a short week traveling. That was it. But everything else, the Eagles off a tough loss, the Saints off a great win. You should bet the team that's off a tough loss. The line flipped from the Saints being an underdog to the Saints being a favorite. That's a sign you should do that. Derek Carr and Dennis Allen as favorites. Never bet that. You'd never bet that.
Damn.
Like, it's just everything checked the box outside of just Eagles traveling on a short week. Everything else said you should not bet. And everything I read, all the signals, all the pros I listened to, they were all saying, if you're going to bet this one, you got to bet the Eagles plus 2.5. And I just kept telling myself, nope, don't care. Don't care. Betting the Saints. I know better. And I did not know better. I should not have done that. So that was my one bad bet of the week. Jaguars plus 5. In hindsight, it is a bad bet because it turns out the Jaguars are a bad team. But going into it, I still probably would have taken that bet again. Jaguars plus 5, 0-2, desperate. Bills feeling themselves on extended rest. And yeah, it was just Jaguars aren't a good team. So I won't be betting the Jaguars again. But yeah, those are the 5 bets, 3-2. We are now, 6-9 on the year, so still kind of climbing out of that hole we created the first 2 weeks. But hey, we just go 3-2 every week. We'll climb out of it over time. We'll be back in the positive. So I'm not worried. It's still early. Feel good. I'm not giving my bets right here, but I will.
Got some ones you looking at?
Yeah, some look ahead lines. So 2 that are locked in that I feel really good about. And I'll get more information on this as the week goes on. I'll see how the lines move. But right now,
It's Monday.
Locked in on the Buccaneers plus 2.5 against the Eagles.
Divisional. No, it was a wild. This is a wild card matchup.
This is a wild card rematch, yeah. And this is not Eagles hate. Like, this is not me just betting this because it's Eagles hate. This is me betting it because, again, Bucs at home getting points. That's a positive. Bucs match up well against the Eagles. Bucs off a tough loss. Eagles off a crazy win. Eagles now on the road 2 weeks in a row. So a lot of signs. And not only that, but all of the public is going to be betting the Eagles this week. Because they saw what the Bucs did, losing. Oh, the Bucs are bad. They lost to the Bo Nix and the Broncos. And the Eagles, the Eagles are still good. Yep, they're 2-1. They're winning games. This is where you fade the Eagles and bet the Bucs. This is the smart move. I'm not, again, nothing to do with the Eagles hate. This is just blanket what you should do. And then my other one that I'm locked in on, it's bad. It's gross. It's nasty. It stank. Chargers plus 8 against the Chiefs.
Ooh, they do play them close. 8 points?
8
really?
Points. 8 points.
Yeah,
8 points. A lot of points. And I know why the line is the way it is. It's because Justin Herbert's out.
Yeah, I keep an eye on that one. I don't know, man.
I know the Chargers at home doesn't really matter. But Chargers at home, getting 8 points. Chiefs back-to-back road games. Division game. So you're getting a division dog at home against a division rival that's on the road 2 weeks in a row. Chiefs have not looked very good. Chargers have looked good. Teams that
try to run the ball.
When you have a backup quarterback playing in his first start, that's typically a sign that you should take that team, especially when you're getting as many points as we are here. So I like the Chargers matchup. They're going to try to run the ball. The Chiefs are kind of struggling to run the ball. Chiefs could struggle to score because they always do against this Chargers team for some reason. I like a lot of things about this. Again, if I start listening to the professionals, because I trust the professionals, and they're just like, this is an awful side. Don't take the Chargers. I might change my mind. But I feel, from what I've learned, from what I know, I think it's the right side, and I feel really, really good about it. So those are my 2 I've locked in. Other ones I'm keeping an eye on.
That's a lot of points, man.
It is. That's why I'm like, dude, you're giving me plus 8. Like,
crazy.
If the Chargers,
that's crazy. That's a whole possession. If
the Chargers get the ball to start the game and just grind it out with J.K. Dobbins and score a touchdown with 7.5 minutes left in the first quarter, they're up 15-0 on the spread. Like, that's a lock almost. You know how much has to go wrong at that point for them to be outscored by 15 points for the rest of the game? Like, I just like that. I also like the Patriots plus 10.5. I'm not taking these. These are just lines I'm keeping an eye on now.
That's nasty.
A lot of people on the Bears at home. I probably would stay away from that game.
Do not understand that whatsoever.
I think a bold, ballsy pick. Packers minus 2.5 at home against the Vikings.
Nah, I'm staying away from that one.
Everybody's about to come.
I'm staying away.
Everybody. The Vikings are getting points? Oh, come on. That's easy. Let me put all my money down. Nah, that's where Matt LaFleur comes in. That's where the Vikings get set up for a disappointment coming off a big win. And that's where the Packers take care of business at home against the
Jordan Love might be back.
That may change my mind. That may change my mind because that's going to flip the line. That's going to change the line a lot. I don't know what that's going to do. So
he's questionable.
We'll see where we land there. And then this line is I'm waiting for this line to change. It's going to change. So I probably won't have it in my 5, but the Commanders plus 5.5 against the Cardinals.
Did it get confirmed? Okay. Oh, Bengals doing their best.
Yeah. This Commanders defense is bad, and that could be a problem. But the Cardinals defense is maybe bad too. So those are just some of the ones I'm keeping an eye out on. I will have my list. I will have my 5 rough draft on Wednesday, and then of course I'll write them in permanent ink on Friday or Saturday. I really don't want to have to take the Cowboys minus 4.5, but sheesh, man.
Wednesday. I mean, we'll see.
I don't know.
Stop Malik Neighbors. You can probably stop this team. So.
40% of Dak Prescott.
That's it. Commanders get the win, 38-33.
Do you know 40% of Dak Prescott's wins as an NFL starter are against the Giants and Commanders?
Yeah.
Is that not insane?
What is he like? I don't even know what his record is. It competes with Mahomes and his AFC West record. Like it's like, I think it's maybe like Patrick first and like Dak number. No, I think it's probably Dak first, then Patrick because Dak's been playing.
Maybe I don't know. I found that out and I'm like, damn, that's kind of sad.
That is.
That's kind of sad. So anyway, all right, that's all we got. I'm done. Are you done, Christian?
Yeah, we can be done. That wraps up our week 1. We can saves us a bunch of time for Wednesday.
Yeah, we got a lot more content in too. Like we got to go deeper on these things than we would have if we did it all in one episode. So that's cool. So all right, everybody. Well, take it easy. We love you. Have a great day, and take it sleazy.
Yeah. See you.
I don't know if the stream ends when I click the end button, so we can just kind of sit here